Bnyl threatens militant action if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is re-arrested. The Biafra Nations Youth League (Bnyl) has warned the federal government over threat to re-arrest the leader of Indigenous People of Biafra (IPOB), Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, on his return to Nigeria for his mother's burial. National leader of Bnyl, Prince Will Chimezie Richard, have declared he said the action will lead to unrest in the southeast. The Bnyl leader is in a press briefing in Owerri, Imo State, said the Biafra agitators, especially his group commands respect as well as loyalists in the militant zone of the Niger Delta, especially the Bakassi Peninsula, where he has been arrested twice by soldiers of Operation Delta Safe. To us, this threat is not needed at this point in time because it can lead to crisis if not well managed, he said. He reminded the government of the crisis that emanated from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's previous arrest, the massive protests which later turned bloody, the militancy in the Niger Delta and Bakassi Peninsula. Suffice to say that the Biafran crisis contributed 80% of the conflict in the coastal line. Because we command respect amongst some of these militant boys, especially in Bakassi, and they are ready anytime, any day to swing into action. I have also gone in for it. During my arrest in Ikang, Cameroon border area of Bakassi Peninsula, during the militancy Bakassi Strike Force in November 2016, it thus warned the government will regret any attempt to throw the East into any form of tension on this issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu returning back to Nigeria. Well, as you guys can actually see, it's a serious issue because he was allowed to go on bail. He was allowed to be released on bail, and all of a sudden, the military decided to perform some form of exercise over there in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's hometown, where he's from. And this resulted into guns being fired. I wouldn't know why the military would have gone there at first. Is it because they got some information? And why would the military go there and not the police? Well, it's just a joint task with the police and the military. They all went there and they started shooting. Was it that some groups of people were gathering, or what was happening actually right there? I don't really know. But what happened is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu had to escape for his life. He shared the story of how he escaped from Nigeria, going on a boat, on a speedboat, and from there he was able to move from one point to the other. He eventually got to Ghana, and from Benin Republic to Ghana, and there he was able to find a way to get himself out of that contraption, that contraption called Niger area, and that's how he was able to escape to Israel. From Israel, he has been moving around propagating the same gospel of how Biafra is going to actually get out of that contraption. I don't know why the government would send such forces, and why the government has not even probed the military personnel, Brutai and the rest of them that went to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's house. Well, if they claim that he is actually disobeying certain rules that has been, part of the bill terms and condition, I wouldn't expect gunshot and the kind of violent outbursts. It would have been easy for them to move down to his house, get evidence of what he is involved in, and send letter for him to be arrested. If they are going to arrest him again because he's not obeying, then it's a different thing. And moreover, why should he have to even be an issue of obedience? Yes, I know that there are certain elements in our society that can hijack any form of movement, any revolutionary movement, or any activist, any kind of form of activist actions. I know they could, but then as it is, this group of people said they don't want to stay. I thought a reasonable country would have sat down for a referendum or to discuss with them, like, what is really happening here? and look at the issues and the concerns that are being presented. But unfortunately, that is not the case. They will rather kill, destroy. They want to muscle on everybody. Buhari once said that small boy that was not born during civil war, you saw a lot of people that died. He wants to create another anarchy and run away. That is not going to allow this. Okay, let us assume that he had a very, very bad time during that military period. He was also part of this. What about now that he claimed that he's a born-again dictator? What about now? Why can't he just sit down and discuss with some groups of people about this? I know that he's not a stranger to this at all, to this clamoring for breakaway from Nigeria. If this is not going to be so, what about discussion? Let us put this right. It is all about decentralization. If they don't want to decentralize, why about abrogating this this constitution that we have in that contraption called Niger area? Because it's not making us move forward. Everyone is just only struggling for themselves. There is nothing that is, in fact, how can you be in a country where there is no social, the government is not providing some form of security? How can you be in a country where the natural resources are being carted away by the north and the south? So these are part of the basic problems that we are experiencing. He also knows that there are some saboteurs in the southeastern part of Nigeria, southwest, and in the north. These people are all involved in making sure that they destroy. It's a shame. It's the same thing that Wale Sowore came down for. A lot of people have been saying this. They've bought a lot of people that claim that they are activists. Of course, they don't reflect. They are not revolutionaries that reflect. They are only activists. They only act. They bought a lot of them. Some of them became governors. Some of them have been given juicy ministerial appointments. So these are part of the problems that we have. Nothing is working. How can you be in a country where social services are not given? No social assistance, no security, nothing. Pension is not being paid. Then you say you don't want to decentralize. You say you don't want to throw away the jaundice constitution. And also, what about the corruption issue? No transparency. It's a shame. So guys, that's what it is. I always preach and I talk about this corruption issue. It's inimical. Corruption exists everywhere in every part of the world, even in the West. That some people want to die on the sea to go to, but they make sure that the rule of law at least is obeyed to a very higher extent. That is how things work. So in Nigeria, that nigger contraption or whatever nigger area contraption, these are part of the problems that we need to look into. We need to really look into this. So they have warned them at first. Mazin Nnamdi Kanu or IPOB is never supposed to be proscribed a terrorist group at all. It's unheard of. What a shame. So guys, that is what it is for now. All I see is tribalism being played out here, and that tribalism exists in the north and in the southern part of Nigeria. In that case, why don't we break apart? If we are not going to break apart, let us address the issue on ground. It is very clear. We all know what it is. So that is what it is for now. If you're not a member of this channel, simply tap on the subscription button and the red notification icon bell. That will automatically make you a member of this channel, and the notification icon bell simply alerts you whenever videos are uploaded. Let us grow this channel together. Thanks for stopping by.